This was today's short flight. I made some of the changes I spoke about yesterday. I moved the altitude to 200 feet. I set my overlap. I think it defaults to 70%. I set it to 85% on front and 85% on side because for 3D modeling, mapping, they want 83% overlap minimum. I did set the gimbal angle to 45 degrees because I wanted to take less than straight down shots to try to get some 3D modeling going on, the whole point of this flight. I did remain with the grid pattern because I don't think I'm getting good data from a single pass in a single direction. I do believe that's all I changed in here. Yep. I did go to the approach to the map and I did set it to a gimbal angle of -45 for the takeoff and approach, and taking a video during that portion of the flight. I also pulled in my 4 corners, A and D, to be away from the road here even more. I did pull A and B down a little bit, trying to get these turns here to stay on my property, and the same thing with C and D down here at the bottom. I moved them in a little bit to make the whole thing smaller. I did want to really do it in one battery today, so that was all the changes I made from yesterday. Only 1 second less than a 9-minute flight. 113 photos to process and a video on the approach. I did do a simulation to verify that I do this every time I do anything, to verify that one battery is going to be used in this mission. I feel like after yesterday's flight of multiple batteries, I don't have to do that anymore. I feel like no matter what I do, the platform will come home to get a fresh battery if it needs an extra battery. I can't prove that it will do that on a path yet because I have not flown that. I cannot prove it would do that on other things. I know it will do it on a mapping mission. I firmly suspect it will do it on other missions. In my humble opinion, Dronelink is excellent software, so I do trust them. And I'm always right there on the control sticks watching every movement of the platform. If there's any kind of hiccup, I will take over manually and land it, bring it home, whatever's required at that moment. We can see on the approach, here's a capture for the takeoff, 200 feet and out to the first point of the mapping mission. Then it takes pictures the rest of the time. This is one I pay attention to every time I bring my mission out to the point where it gets to altitude, right about there. Then I scroll down and I want to see this horizontal speed flat 0 until I get to altitude, and then the horizontal speed can come up. That's perfect. So basically that is the mission I flew. This is the flight of that map mission I just described. I loaded it into the controller. I think it loads into the controller in the cell phone, not into the platform, my opinion. Ardu Pilot loads into the platform itself. I touched the purple button there to start this mission. Off it goes. This is the portion of the capture on the approach, the ascent to altitude, and then the trip out to the entry point of the mapping mission. Those trees we're looking at right now, I can't get rendered in one of my mapping programs, and that's what I'm trying here. 150 feet yesterday, I think the tops were just too close and it was all out of focus. The stitching program couldn't do it, the mapping program. So I'm at 200 feet, 50 feet higher today, trying to work that problem out, and I will. So it got out there, turned off the video. The gimbal is still at a 45-degree angle. It's oriented itself to the mapping mission. It will start the mapping mission. There it goes. It will start taking photographs. I am not going to sit here and make you watch 8 dull minutes, even though it's at a 45-degree angle today and has some usefulness over being straight down. There's no sense in watching 8 minutes of taking a picture every 2 seconds while it flies back and forth over the property. You have seen that in my videos of this when I did this and took videos. So I'm going to fast forward this up to the pertinent point real quick. We'll just condense 8 minutes down into 10 seconds. Here we go. Wasn't that fun? And then this is a manual capture I did by touching the button at the end of the flight after the mission completed, just to have a video of the return to home and landing. Light rain today. The skies were cloudy, overcast. And that's about it. We're coming in for a landing, and then I will show you the data that was generated after it was processed. I have bought a drone mapping program, not really purchased. I'll describe this in a separate video. I paid for installation support, $60, and I have this little program now. This is today's mission, and you can see I did succeed in getting this area of the property mapped today. Road is just a little off. Yep, if we bring the opacity out, the road is just a little off right there by about, let's see, well, I was going to measure it. Oh well, we'll come back to that later. So I did succeed. I think the extra altitude today, a little square out there, and the trees don't look that great, but at least it gave me some output in that area today. That's what I was trying to accomplish, although the gimbal angle caused some other problems. Still didn't get what I wanted up here in this corner, but again, the 45-degree gimbal angle gave me some captures outside of my pattern. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. This was yesterday's flight. And you'll see yesterday I didn't get this corner, didn't really get this corner, didn't get this corner out here, although I flew it. I did not get this whole corner right here at all. But if we go to drone deploy, where I did put those same photographs in, I got a completely square picture. This was yesterday's flight. This is drone deploy, and drone deploy did perfect. I don't have $159 per month to use drone deploy, but it did work. This is 540 pictures in drone deploy. This is the mapping mission I use. It's an open source mapping program. This is yesterday's mission, and you see how here, from here over in a 90 degree, this area was left out, this area was left out, this area was left out of on my mapping, local mapping program in my computer, but it wasn't left out of drone deploy. That's drone deploy. This is open drone mapping software. That's why I did this flight today. I was trying to figure out why these corners didn't come out. This was flown at 150 feet, and my estimate was that it was just too close, and this was just out of focus so much the program couldn't stitch it together. That seems to be a hole in my theory where drone deploy was able to do that. But again, I can't do $159 a month for this just as a hobbyist. I have a little bit of demo time left on that. Again, this is web open domain open drone mapping program. So today, flying at 200 feet, I can see that I did get this corner down here, though I did not get this corner up here. I'll still work on that. And again, this is a little bit squirrely right to left because of the 45-degree angle. Now, if we look now at the 3D model that's generated from this, turn on my texture here real quick so we see more than just clouds. And we'll look at this. I did the 45-degree angle because I wanted to get more 3D out of this flight, and it did do more 3D, as you can see. Although this ground down here in these trees is kind of not really that wonderfully rendered. I'm not trying to render it 3D at this point. I just did a little extra. Let's see what we got on the house today compared to yesterday, and the house is worse somehow. Not even the side over here near the carport came out rendered very well, because this isn't really a good 3D mapping mission. The new house over here rendered fairly well, because I think in the opening that it has without close structures around it, it was seen more in more pictures. And the trees around that area are actually up today and sort of look like trees. Across the road, the houses are vertical. The trees along the line of the road over there on the other side of the road are up vertically. There we go. So yes, with a 45 degree, and the apple orchard out there, of course, is flat. So the 3D model did do a little better with the gimbal at 45 degrees instead of straight down. I will do some 3D mapping that is one structure and I fly around it closely, etc. This isn't really a 3D mapping mission. This was more a survey or other mapping mission, but I just wanted to see how the 45 degree angle did on the three-dimensional, and it's coming along. I think that will be fine. Let's look and see what Drone Deploy did with the 3D version. Here's Drone Deploy's 3D model. Wow, that's cool. Drone Deploy continues to do a really killer job. I just can't afford $159 a month. If you buy 12 months, you can get it for $1,100, a little less than $100 a month. I don't have that kind of money. All these trees in the front field here are sort of rendered vertically. There's the front field. Here's the trees at the east side of that front field. They're vertical, just like they're supposed to be, although they're not very well photographed. The house for Drone Deploy is a little better rendered, kind of like yesterday. I guess it's almost exactly like yesterday. No better, no worse. Do not understand for the life of me why this little area on this side of the house, even though it's blocked on a lot of the flight by the carport trees and the garage right here, still has the best representation of the house. Again, this isn't a truly 3D flight. I would do much different if I wanted to do a 3D model. I just wanted to see what happened. It does show the slope of the hill down to this drainage ditch in both directions. And overall, I think it's a fairly good representation of the property right here. The hill, top of the hill being up here and going down this way in the apple orchard, going down this way on the property we rent. That's really darn good. Back to my little mapping mission one. Keeps going back to a point cloud, and a point cloud is just the points, data points. It sort of shows structure, but until you turn on some texturing, you don't really get a details filled in. And because it fills these in, that's why you get a lot of this really apocalyptic vegetation type stuff. But that 3D map, that 3D map is also pretty good. Again, it represents the top of the hill being up here and sloping left to right and top to bottom, right to left this way, left to right from the road to this drainage ditch, and some of the trees. So that's doing pretty well. I don't know what else to say about the process data except it's coming along. I'm learning, and that's the total intent of this. Thank you so much.